my limo party today is at a church, at a wedding, and so here's a couple of pictures that I took, and I thought maybe some of these might be interesting to take into dog waffle and do something with. Stained glass, beautiful church, Church of Nativity. Here's my limo, beautifully parked. Let's see. Oh, and that's it. I think I only have a few pictures to show so far. Alright, so we have the image stored here. We can actually grab this stored copy too and look at it in a little bit larger, up to about, I think, 400 or 500 pixels wide is what we allow you to preview it here. And when you want, you just click here and it will store it. What I'm going to do instead is actually go to the menu here and say, let's create a new image. There, scale to buffer, or that's another option. You can just paste the image by scaling it to the existing buffer. Alright, minimize that. And so now what I'd like to do is perhaps, first of all, make sure we have the full dynamic range. Go right there, expand dynamic range. It's probably already there. I mean, there's some really bright parts and some really dark parts. Doubtful we're going to see much difference there. Now, this is an example where we might want to use some of the filters, photographic enhancement, right? Perhaps the value adjust or the color. With the value, you could go and perhaps make the whole thing a little bit brighter, especially those parts that are bright already. Give them a little bit more, or just overall make it brighter. Work on the gamma, or reduce or increase the contrast. So there's a couple of ways. Likewise, there's a couple of photo effects, photographic filters. The soft contrast enhancement might be useful. Let's see what that does. You see the bright spot, the bright area here get dimmer a little bit on this end, and then here we have some other, wow, really dark looks, and so on. Let's cancel out of that. Perhaps a little bit of a bluish tint on the inside if you want to make it, you know, this is actually a church that doesn't have a lot of stained glass and doesn't have a lot of concrete walls or anything like that. It's a lot of wood, beautiful wood structure, by the way. But let's say we wanted to make it a little bit more kind of a cold stone look, we probably would want to go to the color and perhaps work on adding a little bit of the blue and reducing a little bit of the red and that sort of thing. So that could give you a little bit more of a colder appearance. And so let's see. Oh yeah, and of course these are very dark ranges, and that's actually one of the advanced color add-ons filters there. If you look at the color, there's a couple of modes. There's the multiply or add something to it, and then or subtract if you go in the negative territory. But you can also do the advanced mode where you work in separate ranges. The darker, the medium, and the highlights. So the darker areas is where you could possibly work on the tinting as well. The medium ones, the brighter ones are the ones you see here in this in the window. So if you wanted those to have predominantly reddish colors or kind of the sun shining on it, reduce the blue a little bit, and you get some nice yellowish, reddish tint to that. Right, that's something like that. Alright, so of course one thing you want to do is make it look like the sun is shining in from the outside and casting some light rays, so-called God rays, and what better name than call it God rays inside the church. Let's go to blur, mystic vision, of course. Seen that one before? When you do the mystic vision, you can place your crosshair right there in the preview, let's say around here, and that will cast the rays all over. Maybe if you bring it even up on the outside in the upper right corner, you'll see it even farther. And if you go really far out there, the more you do that, the more you see. Now if you go too far, you start seeing some banding because we kind of approximate things in your interactive preview. So you can increase the quality a little bit, but you can increase also the depth of how far it casts those. Right, there you go, beautiful. Now there's also that's the dreamy mode, also known as the light diffusion. There's a darker which does the opposite, so that wouldn't be the one we want. Let's go. And one thing that you may want to do is have some areas where the clouds, where the light rays are kind of blocked. You know, if it's all the same soup of air with dust particles, it's all going to be homogeneous. But if you do have, let's say somebody was smoking in here, or they had some incense, and there's a little bit of layering of smoke here or there, what you could do is have an alpha channel that reduces or increases certain areas with that light ray activity, with the God rays. So let's do that. Let's go into perhaps initially into the swap buffer, jump to the swap buffer. That would be right over here. jump swap buffers, right? J for jump. And in here we'll put the plasma filter. There's like a render or noise. I think in the noise we might have it value noise, or maybe it's in the render area. Yeah, that makes sense. Plasma noise. There you go. So you could have something like this, right? That basically be some sort of a cloud pattern, perhaps even something like this. Oh, that's more like space clouds. Let's keep it in the grays. And then what we'll do is undo this quick. One thing you can do is also squeeze it down a little bit so it appears more layered. So let's go and scale it. That would be another filter. You could go and transform it this way here. Now when you scale it with this, that's actually not the right way to do it, because, well, that's rotating it, but this one here, the scale is uniformly scaling. What we really need to do is scale it in just one direction. We do have a filter that does that. I keep looking for it. You know what, I think it was done as a separate plugin, and I don't know if I've installed it on this one here. It's one of those free plugins that were made as add-ons that you can download from the website. Simply go to thebest3d.com/dogwaffle/freebies, and in the freebies section you'll see a lot of downloadable plugins and content. I'll assume that I don't have it here, and we'll just manage without it, but maybe in a different way we can do that. Well, let's just have a look, one last one here. Let's see if we can find a scale. In just one direction doesn't look like we have it. It might be Transform Plus, maybe that one. Yeah, not exactly. Smoothed Transform Alpha. Yeah, that's not it. Alright, so I know we have a filter somewhere that scales it in just one axis but not the other. And that's obviously what you could use to very simply squeeze this thing a little bit flat. There's a couple of other ways. You could probably load it into the brush. Let's grab that anyway into the brush, right? And then see if we could perhaps scale it or resample it in just one axis. I don't think that one does it either. Yeah, I'm wasting your time here, am I? Alright, let's just do without. What I'll do next though is I'll go into the take this grayscale image and copy it into the alpha channel. So in the alpha channel, let's see where we go for that. Since I'm in a swap buffer, I could go copy to swap, or alpha there, copy swap to alpha. Alright, so now we have it in the alpha channel. We can go to the selection mask and grab a snapshot of that. Where is it there? Store alpha. There you go. Oh, that's not the one. How come we grab that? Well, let's grab it from here. Get buffer. Okay, there you go. So now we can put that into the alpha channel. Replace. So it's in the alpha. You see some marching ants here or there. And let's minimize this. And jump back to the main image. So that would be under the image menu. And of course, there are swap buffers. So we got our inside of the church here again. So now let's go back to that filter we used earlier, the Mystic Vision. Right, there it is. And this time we'll put the light right up there too. But what you'll notice now is if I increase the distance, the size of that displacement, the quality and all that, okay, you'll see some areas taking that on pretty strong and then some others that don't. And that's because of the alpha channel. The selection mask is preventing the filter from actually any changes in those pixels that are not selected. So now you kind of still see the rays going through, but there are some areas where they're just not very strong. Alright? Now perhaps we're not quite there yet. Maybe we want to adjust a little bit some of that alpha. So there's a couple of things you can do on the selection mask. You can adjust alpha. With that, it's very similar to the adjust value filter for the RGB channels, and actually it shows you a grayscale of what's on the alpha channel in the selection mask, and then you can brighten it or you can darken it. If you darken it, very few pixels will be actually coming through, and so the rays, the guard rays of our filter will not show. We probably will want to brighten it up a little bit. You could also make it a little bit sharper. You know, some areas that are fully opaque and blocking it, and others that are fully transparent and showing it. That's not a good idea. If we have some sort of a collection of dust particles, it'll be more like blurry like this, right? But there may be areas where we want it totally blocked. So work with those, experiment, And let's try this. Right? So at this point, we'll go perhaps for the final time. Yeah, famous last words. Go to the Mystic Vision again. And somebody's laughing in the background. I don't think they're laughing at me or what I said, but it's a jolly neighborhood here. And what we'll do is, there you go. Now we have those rays coming down. Let's give the highest quality, longest distance, and render that puppy. I mean, there's nothing left to render. Then we can go and clear the alpha channel. That's the selection mask. Where is it? There, selection. Clear that, clear the alpha, and you're done. Okay, something didn't quite play right here. There's some sort of a mask showing, but you know, I probably... See, the thing is, I'm outdoors, it's very bright, I can hardly see what's going on my laptop. It's running on batteries and very low battery power for that. I don't have full power, it's very... my eyes... I'm not even sure I'm going to post this on YouTube today. Well, bear with me. That's, I guess, the message I have. Anyway, so I hope this was useful as a little divertisement and some ideas of some other things you can do. You know, nothing stops you from doing this one more time. I mean, you have... Oh, and I know exactly what happened here. I think I must have touched... Yeah, I must have touched here. And since I have a custom brush with that huge image in there, it's actually... Oh yeah, that's what's happening. Silly me. See, I don't even see where my pen is on my tablet. So I'm going to use the touchpad here. Let me go and undo this a few times. Where's my cursor there? 1, 2, 3. One more. There. That's much better. Alright, and again, nothing prevents you from doing this filter one more time and rendering it again, maybe this time without the alpha channel, without the selection mask. But even with it, right, if you go and select that same blur filter, go Mystic Vision, and place it somewhere up there in the upper right corner. You know, it's not precise science, it's art. There you go. Right, does that look like there's some smoke or something in there? And then go and clear that. No selection mask, but you see that volumetric thingy there. If you wanted those to cast shadows, darkness shadows, what you do is you go to that same filter again, but now you cast the dark ones. Go to the dark side. Let's go to the dark side. Let's here, blur. That's still the same Mystic Vision, but this time, and we place it in about the same place, there, upper right corner, but this time we'll switch it to the scary mode. And in the scary mode, it'll be darker rays. So anything that's dark, like on that crossbar or the elements that hold the glass together in the stained glass, all of those will be showing a little bit of darkness. That's a great way to show good qualities light rays going through here. Something like that. Now, there's one more thing that I want to do at times, and that's to still show the stained glass at the best possible as well. Because here it gets a little bit distorted and gets filtered through. You know, blurred away by the Mystic Vision filters and all that. So you might want to multiply on top of that a copy of the original image. If you multiply it, it will probably get you a nice little corrective measure there on the colors. And we'll do that on the next episode. Alright, hope this was, like I said, divertissement, and nice little exercise. I'll post the pictures that I took so you can experiment with those on your own. And wish you happy waffling and howling. This is Philip Steiger with thebest3d.com, and this was another Daily Dose.